Hey guys, JV here talking more about the recent PS4 mods announcement. If you happen to miss it, Bethesda came out on October 5th to announce that PS4 mods are coming to Skyrim Special Edition on launch and to Fallout 4 sometime after. This news was definitely a breath of fresh air for PS4 players, but Bethesda also shared that PS4 mods will not allow external assets on the Sony console. This is a much bigger deal than I realized upon the announcement, so I pulled together some information from a few sources to help us better understand exactly what this limitation means. First off, we're going to take a look at Pete Hines, Bethesda's VP of PR and Marketing, who has answered a ton of questions on Twitter over the past few days. Here are some of the most informative exchanges that I've been able to find. So first off, we have Lannister asking, so no external assets means we won't be able to get new hairstyles, armors, body types, right? I'm confused. Pete answers, you can use mods that use everything that comes in the game and DLC. You can't add or change art, audio, etc. So this gives us an insight into what we can and cannot do. First off, we can't add or change art or audio. We can only use mods that use everything that's within the game already. Next, Corey says, crippled mod support then, defeating the purpose of mini mods as well as anything cool and custom, shame on PlayStation. Pete responds with, as we stated previously, full mod support was not approved. This is what we are able to do. He's of course referring to the announcement about a month ago that PS4 mods were not approved, and then of course we had this announcement a few days ago that yes, they were approved, but this is the major limitation. This is what they are able to do. I think it's important for people to realize this from a Bethesda perspective, because we are reading the tweets from a Bethesda representative. He represents the company. There is no Bethesda game on a PlayStation console without the cooperation of Sony. I think people need to realize that, and you could say, yes, obviously it's going to be on a PlayStation console because they know they're going to make no money no matter what, but that is the nature of the relationship. It is that Bethesda needs Sony in order to get things on their console. That's just how it works. And so, again, this is what was approved from Sony, and this is what Bethesda has to deal with. I think that's really what he's trying to say. Moving on, we have Dylan saying, that's the point of modding, right? Mod so you can change almost anything. If you can't at least the crummy hairstyle, point, question mark. Pete responds, you can change lots of stuff. There are lots of mods that do without modifying textures or adding new assets. Pete goes on to clarify, you can have access to any mods that don't try to add new textures, new models, new audio, or new assets. This is another clarification of exactly what they mean. We have an expanded list now, so no new textures, no new models, and again, audio, etc., assets in general, nothing new can be added to the game in the form of a mod. Next up, someone asks, why no external assets for PS4 mods? Pete responds, this is what was approved, and then he asks, is there any possibility of them being approved later on? It's awesome you guys got mod support, but there's a lot of mods using them. Pete responds finally with, I have no idea, it isn't up to me. And I think this is another illustration of the fact that Sony holds the keys to the castle, so to speak. They are the ultimate deciders of what happens here, and they decided no external assets. Pete has no say in this, Bethesda has no say in this, it's really up to Sony. Finally, if it wasn't clear already from Pete, somebody asked, question, I know Bethesda posted no external mod stuff for Skyrim, but exactly what does that mean? He responds, textures, models, audio files, etc. from outside the main game, meaning none of that can be added in the form of a mod. So that's the end of Uncle Pete's tweets. There's a lot more that he said, but I think this really hammered it home exactly what they're saying, what's coming out of Bethesda. I think it's always interesting to see what Pete Hines has to say because, again, it's coming straight from Bethesda. Next, I want to shift gears towards C. Dante, a mod author who watched my announcement video and decided to share some of his own insight on this issue. And as a thanks for his voluntary help, I didn't ask him to help, but he did. I've left a link to C. Dante's channel in the description below if you want to check out some of his very cool Fallout 4 mods. First off, he shares, hey JV, I'm a mod author, and to answer your question, no external assets means 99% of the current mods are not going to work on PS4. No new textures, no new 3D meshes, not even mashups of vanilla 3D meshes because that is still a new mesh file. No new sounds, so no radio mods, no new NPCs for quests, and even a custom user script is an additional asset, so it will be impossible to add it to a PS4 mod. Adding more vanilla items to workshops as craftable items is a go. Fixing small things like my dependency quest fix mod is a go. Tweaking weapon stats, armor stats, etc. is a go. Everything else they can forget, sadly. Another commenter asked about an unlimited resource mod or some kind of cheat menu, and C. Dante replied with, yes, that is still possible even with these limitations. Also possible to unlock ballistic weaves for any vanilla outfits or modify vanilla outfits so the player can wear armor on any of them. Also possible to add a ton of vanilla objects to workshops as craftable items, and then he goes on to talk more about how it's a letdown to PS4 players and that one of his mods can be ported to PS4, but only one of them. Michael asked about cheat mods, and C. Dante replied again that cheats don't require custom assets, just tweaking some attributes, so yes, those might work. Not with a holotape program with menus though, because that requires custom scripts. More like this mod doubles the rate of fire for weapons, this mod adds ballistic weaves for every outfit kind of thing. Weapon mods that add new custom weapons are not going to happen, sorry. That requires at least custom 3D meshes and textures. But a weapon mod that unlocks all vanilla weapon upgrades for all weapons, like any mod, any weapons, might work. So you get the idea, nothing can be ported that would add new things to the game. Once again, thank you to C. Dante for his insight. So from my understanding and from everything that I've shared here in this video, in the simplest of terms, here's what this limitation means. Modders cannot add anything to Skyrim Special Edition or Fallout 4 on PlayStation 4. They can only go in and modify things that are already in the game. Custom weapons, custom textures, custom voices, custom radios, custom sound effects, custom anything will not be allowed on PlayStation 4. If mod creators make something that's not using what was already in the game, then it's not going to work. Now, this is from the perspective of somebody that doesn't create mods. I don't create mods. I've only been PC modding for a year now, but I can tell you that this right here puts PS4 players at a significant disadvantage compared to what you can do on Xbox One and of course PC in terms of modding. I've seen a lot of comments around the community in the last 2 days. Some are saying they're glad they have mods and people should just be satisfied that they're getting mods in the first place, while others are saying this is not enough and there might as well not be mods at all if this is the limitation. While I certainly don't believe that, oh, if this is not how it is then we shouldn't have them at all, I genuinely believe that while mods will be useful in certain situations on PS4, this is still a significant disadvantage. People have a complete right to be upset until something changes. The only time I can think of that things have been uneven between consoles is when you have like pre-order content or timed exclusive DLC. Like for Call of Duty and Destiny, there's extra content early on one console, but the stuff comes to the other console at a later date usually. This time with PS4 mods, that's just not the case. It's actually really hard to compare this situation to anything else that's happened. We have no idea if PS4 mods will allow for external assets or not sometime in the future. We have this is what was approved and not we will expand these one way or another like we had with PS4 mods like a month ago. You know, Bethesda did say we want to get these out one way or another. They are not saying that with respect to the limitations. They're not saying we want to expand these one way or another. Again, I believe that Bethesda and Sony should share the blame, but we have to realize that Sony is the ultimate decider in this situation. They hold the keys to the kingdom. Without Sony, there would be no Bethesda games on PlayStation consoles. So overall, this most certainly has to be disappointing for PS4 players that bought Fallout 4 on launch, bought it a few months ago, were expecting mods, and now this is what they're getting. Even for people that aren't super familiar with the modding scene and this is their first time, you can see, you can go on YouTube, you can watch what's on Xbox One, and of course what's been on PC since the very beginning, and that is very disheartening. I'd like to hear what you all are feeling in the comment section below. How do you feel about this announcement and the fact that we pretty much know what the limitations are going to be? I guess we don't know for sure until we see these mods on Skyrim, but let me know what you're feeling in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit that like button. I would appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys next time.